I'm Emily, and I'm a level 1 chef.
I'm Rinku. I'm a level 2 chef.
I'm Dalia, and I've been a professional chef for 8 years.
They're so filling and like cozy. You get like that soft, fluffy potato with the outside crunch.
I love shaping, folding, working with samosas. It's not for the lazy cook.
Growing up in a South Indian household, it was something that my family often made, and it was one of those really fun things to eat that we knew just came from our culture in general. But traditionally, it is a North Indian savory snack.
So I'm making a potato samosa with a cilantro chutney.
So I'm making a Bengali samosa with a little bit of cauliflower.
I'm making lamb keema samosas with 3 different chutneys. It's ground meat with a bunch of different spices, a little North Indian, a little bit South Indian, and somewhere in the middle of the fact that I also live in America.
So my plan to cook this filling is to start by heating up the oil. Then I'm gonna add my cumin seeds and just sort of bloom them for a second. Then I'm gonna add my serrano chilies. Garam masala is like a mix of spices. It brings sort of like those warm and earthy notes. And now I'm just gonna put in my ground ginger also.
Start by toasting some spices. The balance together, the cumin smoky, the fennel's a little bit sweet, and the chili peppers bring them together with just a little bit of heat. The spices will tell me when they are ready. They darken, they get smoky, and they are smelling quite amazing.
The specific spice blend that I'm using is a Pani Puri spice blend. Pani Puri is a North Indian street food. My Pani Puri spice blend is going to have 9 spices. Black salt, also known as kala namak, tangy but almost umami taste to it. Fleur de sel, ginger powder, amchur, which is a dried mango powder. It gives it a really nice sour tang. Cumin, the asafoetida. It's got this oniony, garlicky, and almost sour quality to it. Some black lime that adds a darker sourness. Kashmiri chili, it's actually pretty mellow. Some citric acid to add a little bit more sourness to this dish. Smells good. Smells really good.
Making your own spice blend is great, but garam masala is a great sort of shortcut.
So now that my spices are roasted, I'm grinding them to get them into a nice powder.
Now I'm going to add my spice blend into my ground lamb. It's super complex in flavor, so I'm gonna keep the rest of the things that go into the lamb keema very simple.
This is a blend of 5 whole spices: fennel, cumin, whole mustard seeds, fenugreek seeds, and nigella seeds.
This is coming together so beautifully. The juices are coming out of the lamb, so this is the perfect time to add in the peas.
I use frozen peas just because I always have them in the freezer.
With frozen peas, it gives it a little more time to get acquainted with the ground lamb. You can use fresh peas. It cooks faster.
I'm cooking the onions. The ginger adds a nice touch of brightness. It is smelling quite nice. At this point, I'm adding in my peeled and diced Yukon Gold potatoes.
So I'm using Yukon Gold potatoes. They work, and they taste good.
I like using russet potatoes because I think they just hold their shape better, so it's just a sturdier potato.
Turmeric is getting added in. My potatoes are beginning to get soft. At this point, I'm adding in my cauliflower.
Not against it. I know a lot of people enjoy cauliflower.
Yeah, these are my daughter's favorite. Now I'm adding in salt, roasted spice blend, peas at this point. I can mash this with the back of my wooden spoon. I want the filling to be mushy enough so that it helps me stuff the samosas comfortably. Adding in my chopped peanuts, this gives the filling texture.
I love that Rinku is adding peanuts. I feel like peanuts would add a nice crunch to it.
I think this filling is ready to go. I'm gonna add my lemon juice in first, and then I'll move it all into my bowl.
And I'm also gonna add a little bit of sugar to add just a touch of sweetness because it's wonderfully savory right now. And while it's coming to room temperature, I'm going to make the dough.
So to make my samosa dough, I'll start with the all-purpose flour.
I'm gonna use the pre-made empanada dough, but I'm gonna zhuzh it up a little. So I'm gonna roll caraway seeds into my dough. It's an easy hack. It makes your pre-made dough look fancy. You're welcome.
What I have here is maida, which is finely milled wheat flour.
I'm adding nigella seeds to my dough because they make them look pretty. They are mild, but they add a light onion flavor. So I'm mixing in the salt. Now I'm working in the shortening with my fingertips. The vegetable shortening acts as the fat in the dough. If I wasn't using vegetable shortening, I'd probably use ghee. In fact, that's probably more traditional. traditional.
Ghee is clarified butter. Using ghee with maida and frying it yields a very crispy crust versus using oil. I'm being very precise with the amount of water.
Having it be a little thinner also works well for the samosas. I'm just putting the caraway seeds on one side. I don't want it to be too caraway-y.
Caraway seeds are a great idea.
Now I'm adding fleur de sel into the maida mixture and I'm slowly forming it into a ball. There's so much joy in cooking, just like playing with dough, forgetting everything and just focusing on the task at hand. What a workout.
My dough, it's pliable, it does not feel wet. Now, I'm going to set this aside to rest.
I'm gonna let the dough rest for 30 minutes. I wanna seal it so no moisture gets in. I'm sure you could use saran wrap, but growing up in India, we just use a piece of cloth and like a plate to cover things.
I'm ready to shape my samosas. So what I will be doing is breaking up about lemon-sized balls of the dough. Each ball of dough will be enough for 2 samosas.
First thing I'm gonna do is roll my dough out into a loaf shape, and then I'm gonna cut it into 5 equal pieces. I'm rolling my dough into one big circle.
And I'm just gonna cut this down the middle. And I am ready to move on to stuffing my samosas.
I am shaping my samosa to form a cone.
And use water to seal it.
Water's gonna act as a glue.
I'm pinching the dough. This is important.
The reason why is if they're not tightly close together, when you fry them, they're gonna open up.
And I do not want an oily samosa.
I'm probably putting like 2 tablespoons of filling in here. I just don't want to overstuff it. So to me, I feel like this is kind of a classic samosa shape. I know that there are other ways to do it.
So I pleat the middle, then tuck it into the edge right here, right in the middle, and then I push the one side edges together, and then I push the other side edges together, and then we have a standing samosa.
It's therapeutic to make samosas.
So then you get this little like rounded triangle situation. Ta-da, samosa.
Now that my samosas are all formed, I'm going to let them rest for 15 minutes in the refrigerator before I fry them.
I'm going to be air frying my samosas. It's way easier and way less messy.
I'm frying my samosas because that's the traditional method.
Frying rocks, love frying, don't always want to do it. It's scary.
Air fryers just didn't exist 1,000 years ago, guys. It's just, that's the way we did it.
So I'm gonna air fry my samosas at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes.
I like to use a wok. I feel it circulates the heat more uniformly.
My technique is to start out with low heat.
You want your samosas to cook gradually.
Then I get a crispy outer texture, and once I notice the outer side is crispy, then I turn the heat to medium.
So I'm looking for a nice pale golden color on the outside.
Then I let it brown, and then I turn it to lower and let it finish off.
All right, my samosas are probably ready, so I'm gonna pull them out of this air fryer. Let's see. Oh, come on, baby. Don't, okay. Ah, beautiful.
My samosas are fried, and now I'm ready to make my chutneys.
Chutney is a condiment usually served with snacks.
It's like a dipping sauce that Indian people use with their dishes.
I'm gonna make like a pretty simple cilantro chutney.
The first chutney I'm gonna make is a minty green chili yogurt chutney.
That sounds great.
I'm going to be making a cilantro mint chutney and a tomato bell pepper chutney.
And so I'm starting out here with the Greek yogurt,
Cilantro.
and then I'm going to throw in the serrano
chili.
chilies. I think I'm the kind of Indian that can't handle a lot of spice. So like serrano is like perfect for me.
I'm going to add in some
Mint leaves.
I'll add in the rest later.
Then I'm gonna throw in my fleur de sel. I really love fleur de sel for its like little bit of crunch.
Coriander for some floral notes. It's a very good complement to the smokiness of cumin seeds. The black salt does add saltiness with a depth of flavor. I like to use lime for tanginess.
Lemon juice, salt and pepper, water.
And then I'm going to blend. Now my minty green chili yogurt chutney is done. And next I'm gonna work on my garlic red chili chutney.
That sounds so good. Bring that here.
I've picked out the brightest, reddest Kashmiri chilies that you can find so that the color is really potent. Next thing I'm going to add is the fleur de sel. I like to use whole big cloves of garlic because I want to max out on the garlicky flavor that I'm gonna get. Add a little bit of water and give it a quick blend. My garlic red chili chutney is done.
And now I'm going to work on my tomato bell pepper chutney. I'm going to start with heating a little bit of the mustard oil.
Next, I'm gonna work on my tamarind chutney. Tamarind is a pod-like fruit that you crack open and you use the pulp from. The pulp itself is very sour and tangy. A lot of people love Sour Patch Kids. I like tamarind. It's like that.
So now I'm adding in the mustard seeds and ginger. Tomatoes go in. And the bell peppers. Lemon juice to accentuate the tartness. But I want the chutney to have a somewhat soft consistency.
So I'm going to add my sunflower oil in. And then while that's heating up, I'm gonna get my cumin seeds ready and I'm going to throw that in as well.
So my tomatoes and bell pepper is in. I'm adding in brown sugar. And here I'm adding in tarragon for a nice anise-like flavor. Now I'm going to blend my chutney to a somewhat smooth consistency. So I'll be popping the Bengali 5 spices in the mustard oil, and that is the final pop of flavor that this chutney gets.
It's really amazing how the cumin seeds sort of tell you it's ready, because once you hear it pop, you're ready to move on to the next step. It started popping. Next, I'm gonna add the ginger powder. Then I'm gonna add the Kashmiri chili powder, and then a pinch of asafoetida. I'm going to add the tamarind pulp puree. Really smells good. And then I'm going to throw in the jaggery. Jaggery is raw, unrefined sugarcane that's grounded up here. This is gonna be sweet, sour, tangy, a bit pungent because of the asafoetida, and a little bit earthy because of the cumin, and a bit of spice because of the Kashmiri chili.
I'm adding in a little bit of tarragon over the top for color, and I'm mixing in my tempered 5 spices, and we are done.
My 3 chutneys will work really well together. My garlic red chili chutney is a little spicy, a little garlicky. My minty green chili chutney is minty and just a little bit spicy and super herbaceous. And the tamarind chutney is sweet, it's sour, it's tangy. That sulfuric acid has a little bit of umami and funkiness to it.
Pour that in the bowl. Now that my chutney's done, I'm ready to plate.
First, I am going to plate with my tamarind chutney, minty green chili chutney, and the last is the garlic red chili chutney right up on top.
So first thing, move my chutney.
Tomato chutney, my mint and cilantro chutney.
Done.
And then I'm going to take my samosas and I'm just gonna plate it in a line.
I just put them on the plate next to the chutneys.
Some pomegranate seeds as a nice little garnish, a little bit of cilantro right up on top, and now I'm gonna add some mint leaves.
And these are my samosas.
These are my Bengali samosas with my mint and cilantro chutney and tomato bell pepper chutney.
And these are my lamb keema samosas with minty green chili chutney, garlic red chili chutney, and tamarind chutney.
I like the way it looks.
Plating is rustic, but a little modern. I love the angles and I love how they look with the sauces.
I would like to dig in. Nice and crunchy outside. It's pretty good.
The filling is balanced, it's not too spicy. The chutneys work very well together.
This is the kind of samosa that if you ate, you'd be so satisfied, you wouldn't need another meal.
I think my daughter would be proud of me.
Samosas are pouches of savory filling made famous in India, but enjoyed all over the world. They're so versatile and delicious. Let's see how each of our 3 chefs made theirs. Emily made a filling based on potatoes and peas. She seasoned her samosas with aromatic ginger, serrano chilies for spiciness, cumin, and garam masala. Sautéed cumin undergoes browning reactions between the natural sugars and amino acids and form pyrazines and add new flavors. By sautéing the aromatics together, cuminaldehyde is expressed in the oil, so flavor becomes integrated throughout the filling. Like Emily and Rinku, Dalia made her filling based on potatoes and peas, but elevated it with ground lamb, seasoned with her pani puri masala, which she made with 9 ingredients, including asafoetida, a quintessential Indian spice that is complex and intense from the mixture of dye, dry, and tetrasulfides it contains. Rinku made her own dough out of all-purpose flour, shortening, water, and nigella seeds. Nigella are small, black, irregularly shaped seeds that are herbal and slightly earthy with a hint of caraway. She was sure to rest her dough, which allows maximum hydration of gluten proteins and starches and makes for a pliable and supple dough. Like Emily, Rinku also made cone-shaped samosas and sealed the bottom, turning the cone into a pyramid tetrahedral shape with softer edges. Dalia made her dough out of the traditional maida flour, which is refined and bleached and made from wheat grown in the Indian subcontinent. It has a naturally high gluten protein content. However, the proteins are partially denatured due to the heat from the friction of the milling process, which reduces functionality. It's very similar to cake flour. Dalia made 3 chutneys, one of which was a tamarind chutney. Tamarind is intensely sour from 20% tartaric acid. It has a complex savory, sour, and tangy quality from enzymatic browning reactions that take place on the tree as the pulp of the pod becomes more concentrated as water is evaporated in a very hot environment. She added jaggery, which is crystalline sugar still covered in cane juice from which it was formed. She also made green chili yogurt chutney from whole fat, thick yogurt that is seasoned with mint and serrano chilies. Yogurt has a cooling effect and mitigates some of the spiciness from the serrano chilies by dissolving the capsaicin that sends signals to the brain that there's lots of heat. There are so many ways you can make samosas your own, from dough to fillings and chutneys. Next time you're in the mood for this savory stuffed treat, we hope you'll take some of these tips from our 3 talented chefs.